All right, guys, Shotty T here with another video. Probably going to make this a premiere because this is going to be a very important video that I'm going to go over with all of you guys. It doesn't matter what level you are, if you just started the game or if you've been on the game for a while or if you're somewhere in between. This video, I guarantee you, will help you out. So first things first, we did have a rare soil war. We did win. So far we're 3-1. And the one time that we lost, didn't quite know what we were doing. But we got our mojo, our rhythm going. So as a result, we are number 27 in the rare soil rankings. And well, like I said, we're probably not going to be in the top 20. So long as we finish in that bracket, those are likely going to be our rewards. And of course, let me go ahead and get that done real quick and make sure you're using that. And some of this is actually going to tie into what I'm going to talk about today. All right, so really for me, I know a lot of people keep asking how much money you spend on the game, how much money you spend on the game. Yes, I have spent money on the game. All right, so there's no doubt about that. Now, I've probably spent more than I wanted to spend, and that's the reason why I'm doing this video, because you don't have to spend a whole lot of money to be effective in the game. Yeah, the people that are the top alliances or the top rosters are probably spending a lot of money, but more than likely are spending a lot of money, but you don't need to spend a lot of money to be successful in the game. It's about learning some of the nuances of the game to be more efficient in your resource gathering and stuff. I did do a video a while back on if you are going to spend money on the game, I recommend spending money on these things. And really the only thing that you probably need to spend money on at the bare minimum, I would recommend the second tech center, which we talked about in the previous video, and these construction queues. That's pretty much it. And I've heard that they're much cheaper than when they were when I first started. But I get it. If you don't want to spend money on the game, it's totally understandable. But by getting those four things, you're not even spending $100 on the game. So matter of fact, I don't think you're spending $50 on the game based off the pricing. Now, the rest of the stuff, the VIP, you don't have to have it, because after you listen to this video, you don't need to have VIP. But I just choose to do it because it's more of a luxury for me to have VIP every month. All right, so I'm going to run by the list of things that if I had to start the game over from scratch, I would have done this. So first thing I would have done is join a competent alliance. Like, playing the game solo can only get you so far, but joining an alliance has so many benefits. Obviously, you have the alliance store for one. So you got all these things in the alliance store that you can get. You can't get that not being in an alliance. You have the alliance tech that you can donate, and all of these perks that are within the alliance, these apply to you as well. All right, and speaking of which, I'll make sure I do that. I think I did that earlier. You get alliance gifts. Every time you have people at lunch or rally, you get all these random gifts, and depending on the alliance gift level, the quality of the gifts get even higher. And if you have people within your alliance that does spend money, you get to reap the benefits every time they purchase a pack. So you don't have to spend money, just be an alliance that spends a little bit, but not a lot. Now, some alliances do have certain criteria to be in an alliance. So if you're early on in the game, you're probably not going to be able to join the top alliance in your server. Like the top alliance in our server is TTZ. All right, so obviously, but they don't really have, they technically don't list the requirement, but I'm pretty sure you have to be pretty developed to join that alliance. But you got plenty of other alliances. You just go to a server, look at the rankings, and like if you can find an alliance that's at least 500 million, that's good. That's a good way to get started. So they're probably going to get targeted early, but if you can do your thing, then you can start gaining yourself a positive reputation, and then you can get recommended to some of these upper alliances. Just help your server out with First Lady, all that stuff, and then next thing you know, you'll be in an alliance like this. Like our alliance, we're kind of late. We've been more laid back than others. I've let some people in that's been under level 20 a couple of times. So I think everybody now is at least, I think the lowest person we have is at level 22. But I've let in some people that have been below level 20. So, and like I said, other alliance might be like that in your server. So make sure you find an alliance because there's so much more perks. You got rallies, you got treasure digs, all those things give you resources to increase your personal gain. But you don't want to be a moocher because if you mooch on the alliance, you're not going to be in there for very long. You have to do your fair part, your fair share, especially when it comes to like versus, for example. Make sure you do your fair share. Every alliance is going to have a minimal expectations on versus. And if you check out the videos that I posted on versus, that can go a long way to make sure that you're doing your part, your fair share to the alliance that you're in. So I had to stress the importance of that. That's probably what I'm going to take the most time on. But let's go to the next one because I wrote a list. Attacking bases. That kind of goes to what I talked about just now. Make every day you have a certain troop load where you can attack up to 5 bases per day. All you have to do is just find a random base that's either not in an alliance. That's again, that's why you want to be in an alliance. Because if you're not in an alliance, you're more likely to get targeted by people that are looking for resources. So let's just look at this person here. That person is in an alliance, but it looks like they're in a very low alliance. But you get the chance to attack 5 people daily. But let's say if it's someone that's not even in an alliance, I'm just gonna find someone random. Let's see. Well, it looks like all these people are in an alliance that I'm looking at so far. But all you have to do is just, you get 5 attacks. And what you do, you can use your scouts. Your scouts will let you know how much resources they have. And well, of course, that's not going to help because I did a lot of attacking during this war. But 5 attacks a day, you'll get a chance to get plunderable resources. But you have to scout to see how much resources they got. As long as they got enough for you to do 5 robberies without them getting broke, then you've done your job. If you can find a consistent person that you can rob every day until they decide to get into an alliance, then do that. Because although the lifeblood of this game is resources, you need gold, you need iron, and you need food. Because all of that is your lifeblood for your buildings. Like if I wanted to upgrade this building, it costs iron, food, and gold. If I wanted to heal troops, which I don't have any in the hospital right now, but it costs food and gold, food and iron. If you wanted to upgrade, train your troops, guess what? It takes food and iron. Let's see if I can find one that's, no, I'm not going to speed through any of that. But it takes food and iron to train troops. For resource tasks, not research tasks, they take a lot of gold. They're more gold heavy. So every upgrade that's available in the game, building resources, it takes resources. So, and there's only so much amount of resources you can get in the game unless you decide to buy them. So like I said, which I've resorted to at times. But if you are consistent in robbing people you can either rob one person 5 times or you can attack 5 different bases to add up to your plunders. All that adds up if you do that every day. All right. So, and again, it doesn't take very long for that to happen. So let's go to the third one. Mining overnight. Anytime, or not just overnight, anytime that you're not on the game, make sure you are taking advantage of mining. So I'm mining some gold right now, and I'm very bad at this. Matter of fact, now I'm only doing this because on war day, you don't want to be mining because you got people that can attack you to gain some points. But every other day of the week that's not a war day, like on a Saturday, like Friday going into Saturday, you want to be mining overnight because there are resources that you can gather. And the closer that it doesn't matter what your HQ level is, everyone can gather resources. So if you're starting in the game, you definitely want to mine resources. So the closer you get to the middle of the map, the higher the number of the quality of the resources. Like here is a 12. Now, some seasons, the highest, the number you can get is a 10. But there are a lot of resources. Like here, 648,000 food for that. Here, 648,000 iron, 345,000 gold. Like for people that are high levels, that doesn't seem like a lot. But if you're just starting the game, that can go a long way in doing a lot of rapid early development, because it's all about getting that early development and then finding yourself into an alliance where a lot of the development becomes like a machine at that point. So obviously you don't want to mine the resources that are already occupied by other folks. So there are plenty of resources throughout the entire map. But if you get closer towards the middle, that's where your best resources are. And there's no limit. You can do that. You can literally do that all day whenever you're not on the game. So the best time to do it is when you're going to bed, or if you're at work or wherever, if you're with family. But just be careful just not to do it on a Saturday, and make sure if it's during the week, you're not doing it in a contaminated area, because you are subject to be attacked outside servers. All right. Next thing we got on the list, let's see, leveling up the correct champs. So you don't want to just level up every champ you get. I did do a video on which champ should I rank up. Make sure you check that video out. Like I say, every video I have has a purpose. Like I just don't put out a video for no reason. So, and I'll make sure I try to organize them on a list so that we can find them better. But make sure you're leveling up the right champs. Now, when you first start the game, you get all these blue champs. And I probably made a mistake in leveling them up too high early on, because they probably shouldn't even be at level 50. They probably should be no higher than level 20. Like the purple champ that I was getting early in the game, I probably could have leveled them up to help out, because at the time it was Mason, Violet, Richard, like all these purple champs. Like you don't have to pay for any of these purple champs. Like they come organically in the game. So naturally you want to level them up before you level up the blues. And then over time, as you start gathering the legendary champs, then you want to focus on those as a priority, using the right shards to level them up. Especially if you're a free-to-play player or don't have as much access to resources, it's even more pivotal to make sure that you're leveling up the right champs. So make sure you check out the champion tier list. I'm not going to do it in this video, but just make sure you check that video out. All right. So again, because if you have the right champs, then when you're fighting, you can be more effective in your fighting when it comes to either 1 versus 1 with other people, arenas, or fighting monsters, zombies, doom elites. All that stuff matters. All right. Next, using the first lady. Like it took me the first lady has been in the game for quite some time, but I didn't really know about it until like several months in. So I missed out on a lot of opportunity to have rapid development, because the first lady, we talked about it. The first lady, not volunteering as first lady, but like the buffs that you can apply for. Like I applied for research just now. So imagine you got tasks that take early on, like you might have tasks that only take a day to do, but First Lady can cut that in half. And that's what I mean. Like the MVP, not the MVP, but the VIP, yes, it does give you some built-in stuff if you're a VIP. So like VIP 13, which is where I am, crafting speed 50%, research speed 20%, construction speed up 50%. But let's say you don't have VIP, then you want to apply for these buffs, because these buffs pretty much take the place of VIP. That's 50% speed up right there and 25% research speed just by applying for Secretary of Development. Now, sometimes there may be lines for these buffs, but if you plan accordingly, all right, and it's all about planning and timing, because now the First Lady is optimized to let you know how many people are on the list. Because when I first started, I didn't know how many people was in a line. So sometimes, there were a lot of people in the line, but it wasn't automated. Sometimes the First Lady might be asleep at the wheel and not appoint people timely. But now you know that there's an assembly line, you have a better idea when you can apply for different buffs. So when you're about to start a building that may take 30 days. Imagine instead of being a 30-day building, now it's a 15-day building. So you don't want to, like, 'cause a lot of time I just started buildings because either I didn't plan accordingly and ended up having to take longer to build a building, but and didn't use the first late. The same thing with research stuff. If like some of these research tasks take like 4 or 5 days. So again, save some time on that, and you get a little bit of construction to boost to go with it. And this is probably the one that our whole server never figured out how to utilize this. Anytime you're about to collect resources within your own headquarters, apply for that buff before you do your collecting for your coins, your food, and your iron. Because if you do that, you pretty much double your output. So we didn't know about this at all. Like, we misunderstood this particular buff the whole time. So we all missed out on resources as a server. So that's why as a server, we're like behind the 8 ball from other servers. So yeah, so that there, training, because training gets expensive as well. Like it goes through your iron and your food pretty quickly. So if you're being more efficient with how many troops you can train and how fast you can train, make sure you use that. And then also, if you're going to be fighting a lot, not a lot of people use this buff, but yeah, so First Lady, make sure you're using that stuff. I mean, that's just, and again, this is stuff that I didn't figure out till later on, but I'm telling you guys now, it may be farther behind. Take advantage of this. Another thing, arms race. I did a separate video on arms race by itself. Arms race been in the game since the very beginning. This is not even season specific. So there are 6 different segments of the arms race each day. They're 4 hours long. So obviously you're not going to be around for every single one of them. But as long as you're around for at least 3 of them, see if you can max it out so you can open all 18 of your daily boxes, because if you open those boxes, these are the guaranteed rewards you're getting every day. Imagine getting 10 tickets every day. That's 70 tickets a week. And those tickets can get you those legendary champs that you've been longing for, because obviously the ticket store is more optimized now. So, and those shards that's very hard to get, diamonds that are very good to buy stuff. And then, of course, these boxes for each segments, if you max those out, you get some resources, some speed ups, and some skill medals. So all of these are useful for account development. So if you're going to go all out, make sure you pick 3, or as long as it adds up to 18. So you may not be around for all of them. And I did a more detailed video on that, so make sure you check that out. The next thing is daily plunders. So we talked about looting other people's bases, but other things, because there's some people that don't do this every day, and I admit there are some days that I forgot to do this, especially early on. I didn't even know it existed. It's robbing trucks. Now they have that filter feature out where you don't rob people from your own service, but when I first started, that wasn't there. But you can filter out, so that way anytime you're robbing people, they're from a foreign server. And make sure you're picking the right trucks to plunder. Don't plunder the blues, the whites, the greens. You always want to plunder either purple or yellow, period, because they're going to have the best resources. They have your tickets, they have your secret tasks, refreshes, they have your alliance contribution points, your gears, your resources. They have them in higher quantity, as well as the individual ones on the far right side. They're always in higher quantity, and you can always refresh as many times as you like until you see something that you like. Like, this is a really good one here. You get 2 puzzles. Now you're not guaranteed to get all of these, but you're probably going to get half of that. So RNG does play a factor, but if you rob enough of these, you'll get enough of the resources. Like, if you're hurting for shards, this is where you get them. This is where you get them. I'm going to share this with our alliance so we can have some people take advantage of that. All right, so yeah, so 2 more shards here. And then if you can rob reindeer, which are more prevalent in the game now, they always have the guaranteed same loots. So you probably want to, if you want to be more specific, you can always just rob reindeer because they got these same loots every time. You know exactly what you're getting if you're gonna try to rob those. But sometimes you might get these yellow or purple trucks that might have like 4 legendary shards or whatever that you're looking for that you're lacking. Or you can rob a train. Sometimes trains be having some really good stuff like these decoration chests, which I see someone has already taken advantage of there. And it has a higher number of skill medals. It has that ore because you can't get ore robbing a truck. So sometimes, so depending on what you do, but you get 4 plunders a day. That's for everyone. I don't think it doesn't matter what level you are. I think you get 4 plunders a day. So make sure you take advantage of that and make sure that you're dispatching your trucks every day. I think everyone has the ability to dispatch 4 trucks, and then you have to unlock a research mastery to unlock a 5th truck. So again, take advantage of what's in the game. Now keep in mind, I haven't mentioned money one time. The only time I mentioned money is when I talked about these building queues and that second research center. Okay. All right. The next thing is, and also I forgot, yeah, the secret task plunders too. Speaking of secret tasks, I think I probably got ramrodded. Let me make sure. Well, that wasn't too bad. But make sure you're timely collecting your plunders, because you don't want other people, your secret task, you don't want other people to rob you like I just did now. All right. Help your teammates. 5 assists a day. Some people don't even do that. And make sure that you're assisting and robbing people that, again, are legendary. Do not waste your time robbing people that have blue tasks because they give you the least amount of rewards. It's always about the gold. It's always about the gold. And if there are days that have these start tasks, focus on the start versions. And then that way, and then of course, if you take advantage of your own stuff, then you get more of these treasure maps and get, again, more resources: iron, food, gold, speed ups, skill medals. So again, no money. This costs no money. This is just pure effort. Next, the arenas. Now, I realized early on the arenas were more selective, but now they expanded it to where I think it's the top 400 within the server, so that it's more inclusive now. The 3 versus 3, whenever they happen, make sure you do your 5 attempts a day because you have daily rewards. If you get 5 wins, even if you lose, you'll just go down the standings, which makes it easier for you to win. So if you get 5 wins, guess what? You get 200 diamonds, you get 500 honor points, you get 25 of these boxes, RNG boxes, which sometimes can give you some really good stuff depending on how lucky you get. You can get one of these, you can get 10,000 diamonds. So you never know, but you can't have that chance if you don't get those boxes and 100 of those valor badges. Okay. All right. The campaign. The campaign is another thing that's in the game. It used to be where this helicopter is, but they have it kind of somehow got it weird. So you have to go to the alert tower and hit this little star icon. Make sure you're hitting your campaign every cycle. Now, there's a loophole, which I talked about in the previous video. If you get to a level that you're stuck at, for that cycle, for that 2 or 3 day cycle, do a level that you've already completed and get that to the fullest so you can get maximum rewards, because the best value store in the entire game is the campaign store. And look at all these resources. You get these shards, more RNG box chests, component chests, decorations. You got ore, drone parts. It's just everything in here is valuable. There's nothing in here that's not valuable in this campaign store, and it's at a very good value. Okay, so you got to take advantage of that. And while I'm at the store, let's talk about the understore. Now, a lot of you guys made fun of me, and rightfully so. When I first got this understore, I saw, oh, I can get some legendary shards from this. Oh, I can get some drone parts in this store because I was lacking drone parts. But the understore is really about these blueprints. All right. I mean, you never can have too many blueprints. Every time you get enough, get the blueprints. Really, this should be just a blueprint store, the way I look at it. Because early on, I remember spending 50,000 on a decoration chest. I even did that one time. I've done it on drone parts. I've done it on that. I've done it on these. I've even somebody woefully saw me do it on a ticket before. Like, you don't want to use anything but that in the store. because I'm going to talk about gears shortly, because that's going to be part of it there. Matter of fact, we're going to talk about that. That's going to be the next thing. These next things are going to be hand in hand. Gears. Make sure that when you're building new gear, don't waste your time building these or these. Build nothing but that. Again, all you need are more of these to do that. But remember, if you want to get that, you have to merge some of these smaller items. So these screws, which again is based off of these buildings here, these buildings in the back, the material workshop, and the higher you upgrade these, the more you can produce. And guess what? In order to upgrade these buildings, guess what you need? You know what we need. You need resources. So again, it goes back. That's why I talked about the resource thing at the very beginning, because resources go a long way into everything. So you merge. I did a video on this a while back as well. You merge the smaller ones together, and you can slowly but surely get yourself more of these things, so that way you can craft more of these, which do cost some gold. But yeah, but it doesn't cost a lot of gold. 500,000 gold is nothing. So you can just you can mine a field with 2 folks and you'll have enough gold to craft the gear. So again, these gears take about 1 or 2 days to finish up, depending on your survival levels. But yeah, you want to use that on all your champs. You don't want to have any purple gear on any champs. Now, you want to, if you're free to play, if you don't have a lot of champs to go with, make sure your first squad that you use, your number 1 squad, make sure that they're the most stacked when it comes to gears and when it comes to using your ore, which is going to be the next thing I talk about. I didn't realize how important ore was in the game until several months in, because ore is what is used to upgrade your gear. So if you need to upgrade your gear, it takes gold, of course, but it takes ore. It takes ore, and of course, it takes more of these telemetric data when you get to the higher levels. But of course, if you're at a lower level, for example, let's say if you're just getting a gear for someone for the first time, let's use Violet, for example. So to upgrade that ore, it doesn't cost a lot. It doesn't cost hardly any ore at all to get someone to level 10. And then the gold is very minimal as well. My gold is poor right now because I just used it on a research task, but I got plenty of resource boxes to open up. I just haven't opened them yet with the gold down here. But yeah, so make sure that you are crafting the correct gear. And if you don't have a lot of champs to choose from, just put it on your best champs. And it doesn't matter if your best teams evolve over time, because all you can do is just simply remove the gear. Like if your best team consists of aircraft, you could just switch it and put it on another champ. So you don't have to have everyone having gear, as long as your main squad has the gear. And then if you could just move it around if you're limited on resources. Okay. Next thing, we just talked about the honor points. The importance of survivors. Survivors are key. They make things that you already do in the game more efficient. When it comes to mining stuff, like increased corn production, for example, food protection when you're getting robbed, hospital capacity, all the things that are factored into the game. My favorite one is always the officers, because it increases your drill ground capacity, which means you'll have more troops that you can hold at any given time. It's also great for Desert Storm. The instructors are good. Training count, unit training cap increases. I think the lawyer, I love the lawyers too. The lawyers help time. Anytime you get assist from an alliance member, again, another reason why you want to be in an alliance, because if you get alliance help, it significantly reduces the time it takes to build stuff when you're in an alliance with a lot of people and a competent alliance that have active people. Like if you're in an alliance that doesn't have active people, I recommend leaving that alliance. Now, it's not always about the numbers, it's about the quality. So I'd rather take an alliance with 50 active people than 100 people and only 50 of them being active, if that makes sense. So Yeah, so make sure that you are in a competent alliance so you can take advantage of all these things that are in the game. So we talked about it. The resources, joining an alliance, mining stuff overnight on when you're not on the game, leveling up the right champs, taking advantage of the first lady, doing your daily arms race, your daily plunders, your arenas. Haven't even talked about this yet. Doing that, doing your frontline breakthrough, which is just coming to the game, the special ops, which has been in the game since the very beginning. Taking advantage of that. Um, let's see what. Make sure I didn't miss anything. Now this part right here, unfortunately, doesn't open until the end of the season. All right, but making sure that you're just upgrading the right buildings, your trucks, all that stuff. It all adds up into you not having to spend thousands of dollars to be successful in the game. All right, guys. So yeah, that'll do it. If I miss anything, if you got some other tips, leave it in the comment section. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like I said, I will be around for the premiere just to in case you guys want to chime in during the chat. All right, like, share, comment, subscribe, hit that bell notification, and I'll talk to you later. Peace.